Hello world and Larson Business School students and Larson Training Center, because in California it's still Larson Training Center. So this is our weekly business school students and Larson Training Center, because in California it's still Larson Training Center. So this is our weekly business. Okay, so maybe we're back on track. So this is our weekly memorization, prestidigitation period. Anybody doing prestidigitation this week? Larry? No.
I did no magic.
No. Okay. Nobody's doing prestidigitation, so we're doing recitation. So part of being a successful employee, the most important part of being a successful employee is you can remember stuff. Because if you learn something and you can't remember it, that's the same as not knowing it. Ultimately, everything we do here comes back to being able to remember things. And the reason that is because when we get older, we develop habits, and it makes it harder for us to remember stuff than when we're a kid. When you're a kid and you're in school mode, it's all about learning. It's probably from, I don't know, from the time we come out of the womb, pop into the world, we're learning. But at a certain stage, we don't do a lot of learning. We do repetition, things that we've learned and the habits that we have. And we develop a lot of habits. And so one of the habits we fall out of is the ability to learn quickly and retain stuff. And one of the biggest challenges to that is television. Because when television is on, we don't go into remember mode. We go into experience mode. So we really get into the show, but we don't try to remember anything that we saw in the show. Was it a good show? Was it a fun show? Did I like it? Etc. But we're not into remembering a lot of it. But to be a good employee, you have to remember stuff. And for our students, typically, we learn a lot of new stuff, right? Jesus, Google Cloud. We learn a lot of new stuff, and we have to be able to remember it, or it has no value. The second thing is if you can learn something, you remember it, but you can't communicate it, that's almost the same, right? Constance, so if your boss says, okay, Constance, how do you do this? The worst case is if you say, I don't remember, I forgot, okay? But if you remember and you can't articulate it, you just can't get the words out right. As far as the boss is concerned, that's pretty much the same as not knowing. So the second thing we do is we work on our communication skills, because to really get to stable and meaningful employment, you have to have good communication skills. What is the number one thing adults are afraid of doing?
Speaking in front of people.
Speaking in front of people, exactly right. And there's a statistic that's out there. It's not actually true, but it turns out it's true when they ask people the question in a certain way. But the way the numbers work out is more people would rather be burned alive than speak in public. Now, they wouldn't really, but the way the question's asked, more people say burned alive than speaking in public. So I can assure you, the best way to break that is to just do it. When I went to law school, I didn't like speaking in public. I didn't like having to even answer. Not that I was afraid to do it. I just did. I was never somebody that would always raise my hand. I was the guy who would try to figure out new strategies every day to not get called on. But I would be prepared. It's not that I would not want to be called on because I wasn't prepared. It would be because I just didn't want to maybe have the wrong answer, or not get it right, or have other people thinking I gave a stupid answer. But in 4 years of law school, which is how long it takes when you go at night, it takes 4 years solid, no time off for summer. When you do that, you just get used to that's the way it is. It's just how it is. And it's like telemarketing. People who've never telemarketed before, they go into telemarketing rooms. Have you done telemarketing? No. Larry?
I have.
Okay. So did you start out scared, nervous?
Yeah.
Okay, but then after what, a day, 6 hours? No big deal?
No, it's I still don't like it. It's more I don't like to talk on the phone.
Okay, so it's not that it's telemarketing, it's just,
Yeah, I'm not
okay.
afraid to talk to people. It's just I don't like to talk on the phone at all.
Yeah. So, but for people who don't like, they're afraid of telemarketing, the best thing to do is telemarketing. I can tell you when you get into high levels of competitive sports, when it comes to practice, they don't have you practice the things you're good at. They have you practice the things you're not good at. So along those lines, our curriculum is designed so that on Fridays, we get to demonstrate what we have remembered. And just to make it easy or make it consistent, instead of just coming up and saying, recite one thing 2 minutes of what you remember from this week, it's here are these poems, prayers, and speeches, and we progress through simple stuff to the more or the less simple stuff. What do you remember from those? And so you have to come up in front of the class, which is a little bit initially not fun. And then we have it on video, and that's for several reasons. One is so you can see yourself later and laugh at how you looked in the beginning. And then when we say that's the kind of person that the interviewer was going to see in the interview, compare you to now, you're going to see big improvement in how you are now versus then. So we do it. That's one reason we tape it, is so that people can see how much they have changed. Another reason is because it's live on YouTube for the whole world. So anybody could be watching this right now. So this is a Google app called Hangout on Air, and this is your first week. So we haven't talked about Google Hangouts on Air, but it is a thing that is live for anybody in the whole world can be watching this right now. Live. Yeah. In fact, that second thing that was going where we heard me talking, that's now the delay. What was the delay when you started, Phyllis?
About a minute and a half.
Okay. So last year when Phyllis was here, you would see about a minute and a half after people had talked. Now it was like, what, 15 seconds, 20 seconds? 30, it was not more than that. So that's the other reason we do, is because we don't have 4 years like I had in law school, or 4 years like they have at Stanford. We have 4 months. So we really have to get people through to where they can get back into being able to learn and remember what they learn, and get them to break habits that they've spent 20, 30, 40 years of not feeling comfortable speaking in public. So that's what we do. That's what this thing is. And we start out with our book. Is there a book here? Can you throw it to me? So we start out with, this is the book we use. Remember this? Notice the name on the bottom. Selfless plug for myself. Shout out to me. So we start with this, and we start with the things that everybody learned as a infant, or not infant, but as a, what is it, child?
Yeah.
So for example, if I say, Constance, what do you remember from This Little Pig?
This little pig.
Yeah.
This little pig went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. And this little piggy went wee, wee, wee all the way home.
Okay. Now that is exactly how virtually everybody in here does it. Right, Phyllis?
Yes.
That is, everybody remembers that from when they were a kid, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago. We haven't had anybody in their 70s, have we?
No.
But Bill McCune was like 68.
How old Lynn?
He was about my age.
Oh.
He just had a rough life, 47.
Oh.
So here's how it actually is. This little pig went to market, not piggy. This little pig went to market. This little pig stayed home. Okay, so you have those right, except for piggy versus pig. This little pig had roast beef. This little pig had none. And this little pig cried, wee, 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 wee.
Oh,
Everybody says 3. Wee, 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 wee. I can't find my way home.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Okay, I can't find my way home. And that used to be one we did, but what would happen is somebody get up here, nervous, right? Start, and it would be we, and they would we. He cried all the way home. Cut. I can't find my way back home. Okay, yeah, I can't find my way back home. And it was like, okay, take 10. It's not, I can't not cried all the way home. It's, I can't find my way back home. And so that really illustrated we can retain stuff that we learned as a kid, but it's hard to learn new stuff, especially when you're up here and there's a little bit of nervousness and pressure going on.
Especially if that's the way it was taught to you
Yeah.
in the beginning.
No, I know, but if somebody says change this 3 words
Right.
to, what did you say? Cried all the way home?
Cried all the way home. but
To,
couldn't
I
find
can't,
I can't find my
Yeah.
way home.
when you change from that to that, in 15 seconds, they could not remember those 3 different words. So that kind of shows you the power of habit, of having things locked into your brain, and also for adults, how hard it is to change that. Because my hunch is you haven't thought about that poem for a long, long time, and you got it probably exactly as you learned it the first one when you learned it as a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the book we use, and we start out with that. And the last one we do, so that one, well, we don't start out with that one. We start out with the Red Wheelbarrow and the Purple Cow, because nobody knew those growing up. So you had to learn those. You have to learn those. So that one is, the Red Wheelbarrow is 16 words.
Yeah, I never heard of that one.
Nobody had. That's
But
why we
the
choose
Purple
that
Cow
one.
I have.
Okay, so you're advanced. Most people, did you ever heard of either? Had you? Yeah, most people have not ever heard of those. So, had you, Phyllis?
No.
No, okay. How about you way in the back? Okay. Yeah, most people have not. Very few people have. So, but the Red Wheelbarrow is 16 words. The Purple Cow is 25 words. Most people find it easier to do the Purple Cow than the Red Wheelbarrow.
It rhymes.
That's probably why. So, so we start with those 2, and when you get those 2, you get one of these. Unfortunately, we turned over updating this book from the 2014 version to students. How many different students, Phyllis, again? Worked on the correcting the few errors?
I want to say 4 or 3.
At least 4.
Four.
At least 4. At least 4. Because we had teams of people working on it.
Yeah.
So there's some in here, like the Mark Antony's thing.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. It says, it is not meet that you know. It's really, it is not meant that you know. It's not meant that you know instead of meet. So we've had people that go, we're supposed to just correct the few errors in here, and in more than a year, we haven't been able to get this thing updated. So that's why you don't have a book and you don't have a book. You know, we only have, whose book was this?
You good?
Dominic? Oh, Dominic left his book. Okay, so, but the last one is Mark Antony's speech, which is a total of how many words? Anybody know? Mark Antony's speech. So it's 16 words is the first one. And the last one is 944 words.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had like 5 people, I think, get through all of them.
Yeah.
4 or 5 people memorized 16, all of them over for a 16-week period. So, so that's what this particular period of time is. We have a few minutes. Should I do Red Wheelbarrow?
Something harder.
Yep.
Do it.
Now, I didn't have enough time to look at that one to review it. Okay, so much depends upon a red wheelbarrow glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. Not that hard. Okay, purple cow. I never saw a purple cow. I hope to never see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. Right? I think that's exactly right. And let's see, that's 2. People song, I think I did that last week. We don't do the Lord Beautiful. Well, we're running out of time. I don't want to hog the whole show. So who's doing what here this week?
Who wants to do 3, 2, 1?
Have you done it yet, Larry?
No.
Do you mind?
Tell them what?
3.
Uh,
Okay, good. Super. See, Larry always has a good attitude.
3,
You say 3,
2, 1.
okay? So you say the 3. 2 and 1 are silent. You point at the person, then when he points to you, what you do is first thing you do is you take a breath. Okay? You inhale. A lot of people forget to breathe. William Hendricks had a problem of he would forget to breathe. Now in the real thing, Nolan had an interview this week. Nolan Bushnell was on a TV interview, and they had the thing that goes, that thing you see, they had one of those. And in the second segment, the guy didn't do that with the thing. Las Vegas hits, scene 2, take 1, clack. They didn't do that. And so they do 3, pointing to the interviewer. And Nolan says, I prefer it when you give me the clap. So that was the reaction of everybody. And so that's in the blooper reel. But, okay, who's going to go first? Jesus again? It's you or Constance, because Larry's doing the directing.
3.
Are you going to do one this week, Phyllis?
Yeah.
Phyllis gonna do one? Phyllis was pretty good last week.
Quiet on the set.
3, 2.
My name is Jesus Sanchez, and this is my 12th week at Larson Training Center, Larson Business School, and I will be reciting the Purple Cow and the Gettysburg Address. Purple Cow. I never saw a purple cow. I never hope to see one, but I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one. And the Gettysburg Address by Abraham Lincoln, November 19, 1863. 407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, received in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in this great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of war. We have come to dedicate a portion that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot allow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggled here have consecrated it far above and pour power to add or detract. The world will no longer remember what we say hurt, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated, her to be unfinished work. They who fought here have thus far to nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to great tasks remain for us, that from these honored dead, we can take increased devotion for that. Cause for which they gave the full measure for devotion, and we here highly resolve that these dead should not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom and government of people, by the people and for the people, should not perish from the earth.
Good.
All right.
What about the purple cow?
I did it.
Oh, you did?
Yep, good first time.
Wow. Good. Okay. So Constance, are you ready?
Oh, why not?
Okay.
Do a good job.
She has been practicing?
I can tell if she just has good memory.
So let me probably do this. There.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
What are you doing now? Which one?
How do I look?
Oh, okay.
Quiet on
We'll get
set.
to that.
3.
Hello, my name is Connie Kroll. This is my first week here at Larson Business Schools, and I will be reciting today the Red Wheel Barrel and the Purple Cow. The Red Wheel Barrel by William Carlos Williams. So much depends upon the red wheel barrel glazed with rainwater beside the white cows.
Cut. Chickens.
Oh, chickens. I was thinking of the purple cow.
See what happens?
Oh, well.
Now we'll see if you pull it together.
Quiet on the set.
3.
The Red Wheel Barrel by William Carlos Williams. So much depends upon a red wheel barrel glazed with rainwater beside the white chickens. And the Purple Cow by Gillette Burgess. I never saw a purple cow. I never hope to see one. But I can tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one.
There you go. Good job. Excellent. Okay. Good job. Okay, Larry. Okay, so you can't, what do you mean when you say you can't read it? What do you mean?
It's hard for me to read it, let alone memorize it.
Okay, do you have another one that
No.
you have memorized?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Would you rather read that or Jabberwocky? Which one? Because I know that one has a strange words in it.
Yeah, it does. I do know,
Did you do the 23rd Psalm?
I think I could do that one.
Okay, great.
23rd Psalm?
Yeah.
All right.
And Jesus, you can get your book ready, Jesus.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just going back with my own memory.
That's fine.
That's
fine. Well, Jesus will be there to prompt you.
all right. What are you doing?
23rd Psalm. Psalms 23. Quiet on set.
3. Hello world. My name's Larry Spellman. I'm going to do the 23rd Psalms today. Okay. For the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He lays me down in the green pasture and guides me through the still waters. He restores my soul. And even though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil, for the Lord art with me. His rod and his staff comfort me. He sets a table before me in the presence of my enemies and anoints my head with oils. My cup overfloweth. Surely goodness and love shall follow me all the rest of the days. Amen.
Okay, good job.
Huh?
I think that was a good, I think you held it together.
Was that it?
Yeah, right? Did you miss anything? Just a
No,
couple
we have,
words, right?
There's no correcting Larry sometimes.
No, but there's just a couple words.
Just a couple words
Right?
here and there.
Okay, so Phyllis, what are you gonna do? No, you did a good job, Larry.
All right, thank you.
But before you come up, Phyllis, I just want to say about that one, here's an important thing to know about that. Well, there's two things. I'm going to be really quick. One thing is there's somebody that's not mentioned in that poem. What's mentioned is the sheep and the shepherd, right? Who's not mentioned?
Jesus?
No.
Wait a minute.
Whenever there's sheep and shepherd, there's one more.
The wolf?
No, there's not always a wolf. There's a sheepdog.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the sheepdog is not mentioned in there, and that sheepdog plays an important role, but like the sheepdog doesn't really get the credit it deserves. We don't have time to talk about that. But the other thing that's the most important is that thing doesn't say don't go into the valley of death. It gives you courage when you go into the valley of death because you know that the shepherd is there to protect you. And a lot of people think that to be a Christian, you have to avoid bad things, avoid temptation. It's not really about avoiding temptation. In other words, no, I'm not going to look. It's being able to look and not get sucked in, get pulled in. So, with that poem, one of the most important things to get is it's okay to go into the valley of death. It doesn't say, thank God, thanks the shepherd. I didn't even have to go through the valley of death. I just went through the safe place. That's not what that's about. That's about going through something really bad and not worrying about it. So it's a good thing that you have that one memorized, Larry. On your own.
Oh, yeah, I remember that from years ago.
Okay, Phyllis.
I did that.
Close it out, Phyllis.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Phyllis Woodruff, and I'll be reciting Pippa's song. The years in the spring, the days in the morn, mornings at 7, the hillsides do pearl. The lark's on the wing, the snow's on the thorn. God's in his heaven, all's right with the world.
Excellent. Good.
That's our weekly memorization. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
You'll see us.
That's good.
Okay, good.